What's good, y'all? Welcome back to Reek Knows Hoops. I'm your host, Tyreek. Be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you are new. It's a place where we talk about NBA basketball, so if you love hoops, this is the place for you. And today we're looking at an article from Bleacher Report written by Andy Bailey that is the 2017 NBA Redraft. This is a very stacked draft class. Guys like Jason Tatum, Donovan Mitchell, Adebayo, a lot of all-stars in this class. And in this article, Andy Bailey's basically saying how the draft order would look now if they were to redraft these players today. And I think it's kind of interesting to look at just to see, like, you know, who was the original picks at those spots and who they think would be taken now. And we're going to get back into the What's Next series probably with my next video. But I wanted to take a look at this because I think it's very interesting. This came out earlier today, September 14th, Tuesday. They also did the 2016 one, I believe, yesterday on a Monday. But I think this one's a little more interesting. I think the 2016 one is not as compelling as this one, so let's go ahead and get into this one. They start from the bottom to the top, so from the 30th pick, which is in the first round, to, of course, the number one overall selection. So we can quickly glance through some of these, and I guess I'll stop and talk about some guys that fell drastically. And we'll start off with Jordan Bell. He was originally a second-round pick, and his value went up to basically the end of the first round. Somebody that was, pretty good for the Warriors, but has, not really found a role since he's left Golden State. With the next one, Harry Giles, man. Harry Giles was one of the best players in his high school class. It says here he was number 2 overall. I believe he was number 1 before he tore his ACL for the second time in high school. Been a cool player in the league. Hasn't really, I think, given the opportunity to really find his role in the NBA. Next, another guy, Frank Jackson. He was from Duke also. I was in the camp. I thought he left college a little early. Still able to get drafted, but I think he could have maybe got to stock up a little more that you've seen guys like a Trey Jones do. Or, some guys have done, staying an extra year in college. He's been a cool NBA player so far. He had a nice season last year in Detroit. Averaged 10 points, shot 40% from downtown. Next, Zach Collins. This is a big one that I've seen. He fell from the number 10 pick to, in this redraft, being the 27th overall pick. Somebody that has been pretty cool when he's been on the court, but injuries have been the biggest problem for him. That's the biggest issue. Now he's in San Antonio, so hopefully he can stay healthy so he can be productive and, potentially show why he was a top 10 pick in 2017. Next, PJ Dozier. I really like PJ Dozier. He was undrafted in this class. He played for South Carolina in college, and him along with Sindarius Thornwell, they were able to make a Final Four run, which is pretty cool to see a lower seed make it that deep in the tourney. And he's been a very good player. I forgot to mention him in my Nuggets video the other day. He's been really good for them. When healthy, he's been very productive. He's improved each season he's been in the league. With the next one, the 25th overall pick, Dennis Smith Jr. was taken number 9th overall, and he falls to 25th. Dennis Smith Jr. coming out of college was exciting. He was a highlight reel. Showed a lot of great potential his rookie year in Dallas, and then they drafted Luka Doncic the following year, and that really, I think. I can't really speak for him, but it looks like his confidence kind of got killed. Got traded to New York, wasn't really great for the Knicks. Got traded to Detroit, showed some flashes here and there, and now he's just on a training camp deal for the Portland Trail Blazers. So hopefully he can resurrect his career because I'm rooting for Dennis Smith Jr. to be successful, but hopefully he's able to find a role somewhere in the NBA. Next, Luke Cornett. He was undrafted, so it's cool to see him, get all the way up in to the 24th overall pick. Played for the Celtics last year. He was okay. 23rd, Isaiah Hartenstein. He's found a decent role in the league. I believe he's still the backup center for the Nuggets now. So, he's been kind of cool. He was cool in Houston first couple years of his career. Hasn't done a lot since then, but maybe he'll find more playing time this season with the Nuggets. Tony Bradley, he was originally taken 28, so he jumps up 6 spots to 22. I would like to see his role in Chicago elevate a little bit this year. He's shown a lot of flashes, I think, last year. He's still very young. He was one and done out of Carolina. So I think, he still has a lot of room to improve. This is the big one. Josh Jackson was the number 4 overall pick. Andy Bailey has him going number 21 in this draft to OKC. Somebody that was taken as kind of a raw prospect, looked at as if his offense ever catches up to his defense, he'll be a great player. He's really struggled to find his role in the league. I would say the last couple of years he's been humbled a little bit, and he's starting to play a little more productively. And he was in Detroit last season. He played really well for them. So hopefully he can continue to research his career and find a place in the NBA so he can be a consistent player on a roster for the majority of his career. Next, Malik Monk. I'm not trying to join their newsletter. Malik Monk, he was taking number 11th. He falls to 20th right here. He had a very good season last year before he got injured. He was playing really well after I think he was suspended for the early part of the season. I'm a believer in Malik Monk. I think he can be a elite six man. I'm excited to see him with the Lakers this season. I think that was a big-time steal in the offseason, and I think he can really have one of the better years of his career. Let's move on to number 19. Dillon Brooks. He was taken in the second round, man. 45th overall. Moves up to 19. One of the best one-on-one defenders in the league. He does get in foul trouble a lot, but he's still a very solid, very sound defender, and he is pretty good offensively too. Pretty good offensively. Some nights he can be a go-to scorer for the Memphis Grizzlies. Really like Dillon Brooks' game. Number 18 is Markelle Fultz. He was the number 1 pick in this draft. I'm still a believer in Markelle. He was playing really well before the injury last season. I hope he can get back healthy and show why he was the number 1 pick. The first 2 years were pretty much a wash for him in Philly. Whatever was going on with the jump shooting really derailed his career. But I still think, even though there's kind of a logjam in the backcourt for the Orlando Magic, I still think Markelle can be a very good point guard in this league. So I'm excited to see him get back from his injury and continue to try and prove the doubters wrong. 17, Chris Boucher, who was undrafted. He got hurt in college. I think that might have really killed his draft stock. But he's really came in and been one of the most improved players in the league. I believe he was an MIP candidate last year. Maybe not top 3, but he was right outside of that. Showing the ability to stretch the floor. Is a pretty good shot blocker too. I really like his game a lot for the Toronto Raptors. Number 16, Thomas Bryant, who was taken in the second round of this draft. I forgot Thomas Bryant was in this draft, and I forgot he was taken so late. Another guy needs to get healthy. I believe he tore his ACL last season as well. So hopefully he gets healthy, because the Wizards are going to be, I think, a very fun team, and I think he will be able to help them a lot in that front court, along with Daniel Gafford and others, Roy Hachimura and them. But yeah, I forgot he was taken in the second round. And then we get to the top 15. Josh Hart, 15th overall. He was taken with the 30th pick. The Villanova guys that come in the league are always solid. You got him. You got Mikal Bridges, Jalen Brunson. I think Eric Pascal is very solid. There's a lot of very solid guys that come out of Villanova. Josh Hart's another one of those guys. He just got paid this offseason. 14th, Ohio's very own Luke Kennard. Still a lottery pick in his redraft. He was taken 12th overall before. Now he falls to 14. Look, knockdown jump shooter, struggles on the defensive end, has a big contract. But I think he's somebody that really understood his role, and he was always ready for the LA Clippers in the postseason. Even if he hadn't played for an entire series, he'll come in the next series and shoot the lights out. Shout out to Luke Kennard. 13th, Kyle Kuzma. He was taken at the end of the first round in 2017. I think it's going to be a bounce back year for Kuz, somebody that's already shown that he can score the ball with ease. He has a championship under his belt. I think he's developed really well as a player. I've talked a lot about Kyle Kuzma in my Wizards video from last week, so go tune into that one if you missed it. Number 12, Monte Morris. I talked about him in yesterday's video. It was just a very sound point guard when he was coming out of Iowa State, and he still does the same thing. He got paid as one of the highest paid backup point guards in the league because of that. Low turnovers, pretty good assist man, can knock down jump shots. Very sound player, very good player to have. I think he's going to have a very, very big season with Jamal Murray being out for, we would say, the majority of the year. Talked about him in my Nuggets video from the other day as well. Number 11, Lauri Markkanen. He's in a new situation. Don't know if he's going to start. Don't know if he's going to come off the bench. But I don't imagine you pay somebody almost $70 million over 4 years to come off the bench. That's Cleveland for you. But hopefully Lauri is able to find his way in a new position, new role, and hopefully he's able to produce for the Cavs in that situation. Now we get to the top 10. Derek White at number 10. He was taken at the end of the first round. Very sound guard. Good defensively. I think his offensive game is starting to catch up a little bit more too. Just one of them Spurs-type players, man. He's just very sound. I think a lot of teams will look for Derek White if he becomes available in a trade. So number 10 overall, that's pretty high. Yeah, they project him to – this is cool. It says projected 5-year market value is about $105 million. So that's a lot of M's, man. Shout out to him. Number 9, John Isaac. Somebody else kind of been plagued with injuries over the last few years. Need him to get healthy. He looked very cool in the bubble before he got hurt. Hopefully, I think the thing for him, they want to see his offensive game catch up because he's a very elite defender at such a young age. He also got paid last offseason, so hopefully think the Magic are going to be cool. I'm going to do a video on them shortly because they're one of the teams I haven't talked about yet this offseason. He's a big piece. He has to get healthy for sure. Moving on to number 8, OG Anunoby. Another guy that's just improved every single season. A lot like a lot of these guys that we talked about. His big thing is just being on the court. He has to be healthy. I didn't realize he averaged like 15 points per game last season on really good efficiency. One of the players for the Toronto Raptors that they got to hold on to for dear life for sure. But they have him locked down for the next, I think, 3 or 4 seasons. I'm expecting him to take another jump this year as well. He was originally picked 23rd, so they have him going number 8 here. And 7, the Chicago Bulls. They originally picked Lauri Markkanen, and in this one they got Jarrett Allen. Yeah, seems pretty good. I mean, I think you can like shift these guys however you want for real. I don't know. I might take a OG over a Jarrett Allen right now because I think OG's defensive versatility is very elite. And he can shoot the ball very well. I think his offensive game is developing. Jarrett Allen's a rim protector, and he's a lob threat. I mean, that's really what he does. Nothing wrong with that. I guess it really depends on fit, but they're saying this is not based off of fit, so it's all about who they think's the better player. So they think Jarrett Allen is better than OG. That's debatable if you ask me. This is where the list gets a little spicy, man. De'Aaron Fox at number 6. When you look at the guys ahead of him, you might think this is bogus. I think it's bogus. I think De'Aaron Fox is at least a top 4 player in this draft. Maybe it's the fact that he plays in Sacramento and he doesn't get a lot of media coverage. This is somebody that's gotten better each season of their career, and he was a borderline all-star last season. And Sacramento, without him, is they're a terrible team. Like he is the Sacramento Kings, man. I think hopefully the Kings get good sometime soon because he deserves to be in the spotlight a little more because he's definitely one of the more exceptional young talents in the league. Number 6 is kind of bogus if you ask me. Then you look at number 5. They got John Collins at 5th. I'm a fan of John Collins. He bet on himself. He got his bag in the offseason. He's improved as a defender. Still very lethal offensively as a lob threat, as a stretch 4. I would still take De'Aaron Fox over him. As if we're just talking about players' value and stuff, I would still take De'Aaron Fox over him. But still, John Collins is a very good player and deserves to be near the top of this list. But De'Aaron Fox at 6 kind of blew me for sure. And then when you look at number 4, Lonzo Ball. And look, you probably won't find many people that is more of a Lonzo Ball supporter rooting for success more than me. I've gone to war with people over Lonzo Ball. I'll argue with my dad over Lonzo Ball. I'm really a big fan of Lonzo's game. But you can't tell me you wouldn't take De'Aaron Fox over Lonzo Ball. Like, just, player for player, not talking about fit on the team. Maybe for the Chicago Bulls, Lonzo Ball is a much better fit. I think as it goes to being a better player, I would take De'Aaron Fox. So I think this is kind of iffy if you ask me. Yeah, still a big fan as well, but over De'Aaron, I'm not sure about all that. Then the top 3 I can kind of agree with. I think 2 and 3 is kind of interchangeable. I think Bam, still one of the more undervalued players in this league. Just the defensive versatility that he brings to the table, and also being such a lethal offensive player without being a big-time scorer. I think that goes very undervalued. Number 2 was Donovan Mitchell, I believe. Yep, Donovan Mitchell. Look, Donovan Mitchell. He's a big-time playoff performer. I understand having him this high for sure, because he elevates his game when it comes to the postseason, man. He's like a 30-point per game scorer in the playoffs, and he's been doing big things in the postseason since his rookie year. So I can understand having him at number 2. I think 2 and 3 is pretty interchangeable, but the number 1 player in this draft is Jason Tatum. I think that's pretty evident. Jason Tatum, somebody that has MVP-type qualities. I'm excited to see him this season. A fully healthy year of Jason Tatum. People forget he had COVID last year, so that kind of derailed his year. But I'm excited to see him this season, fully healthy. Hopefully, the Celtics can play a lot better. And that's the 2017 redraft. So crazy to see some guys that were top 10, top 15 fall so drastically. It's also crazy to see some of the guys that they think is top 5. Like, I didn't expect Lonzo Ball or John Collins to be over De'Aaron Fox. Pretty shocking if you ask me, but this is still a cool article. It's nice to look back at the previous draft class that has been very successful so far in their young careers. A lot of guys in this draft have got paid, so shout out to them. And yeah, I'll probably do the 2016 redraft, look over that article within the next few days too, and hopefully they continue to drop these because I like looking at them. But once again, be sure to leave a like, subscribe if you are new, and I'll be back next time, y'all. Peace.